विष्णुपाद बाबा गोस्वामी महाराज को गुरुजी की दूसरे विष्णुपाद में ओम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर भक्तिवेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज की तो दोनों महापुरुषों की आज भगवती को उपस्थित हुई है। जो उपलक्ष्य आज हम करेंगे। दोनों का चरित्र दिव्य चरित्र, शिक्षणीय चरित्र, आदर्श चरित्र, दोनों के जीवन में वैष्णव गुण प्रकाशित होते हैं। अमान्य मानवता गुण बताए गए हैं। स्पष्ट रूप से दिखाई पड़ते हैं। विशेष रूप से मध्य शिक्षा उत्पाद पर जो आचार्य होते हुए भी जिस प्रकार से इतने वर्षों तक उन्होंने समिति को चलाया, उसका परिचालना किया, तो साधारण बात नहीं। एक कहावत है, समान देने समान मिलता है। समान से ही समान प्राप्त होता है, धन से धन प्राप्त होता है, शक्ति शक्ति प्राप्त होता है, विद्या से विद्या प्राप्त होता है। इधर फंडा है। धन से ही धन इन्वेस्ट करोगे, धन मिलेगा। विद्या है, विद्या से विद्या प्राप्त होती है। उसी प्रकार से जब सम्मान देते हैं, सम्मान समस्या हमारी क्या है? हम सम्मान तो चाहते हैं और सम्मान देना नहीं चाहते, फिर सम्मान लेना चाहते हैं, देना नहीं चाहते, सम्मान मिलता नहीं। सम्मान का दिया जाता है ना लिया जाता है। सम्मान तो स्वाभाविक रूप में होता है। ये तीन महापुरुष स्तंभ में हमारे भक्तिवेदांत समिति के परम गुरुदेव के तीन रत्न जो थे, एक तो शिष्य गुरुपाद, शिष्य गुरुपाद दो, ये तीनों का जीवन चरित्र अद्भुत है, अलौकिक सिद्ध हो जाता है। ये कोई सामान्य महापुरुष, सामान्य व्यक्ति नहीं थे, बद्ध जीव नहीं थे। बद्ध जीव के अंदर ये गुण दिखाई नहीं पड़ता। तो बात कह रहा था, मुक्त बद्ध में क्या अंतर है? मुक्त जीव समदर्शी होता है, ना कोई शत्रु होता है। सम शत्रु में मित्र ही तथा सममान आत्मा है। ना कोई शत्रु होता है, ना कोई मित्र होता है। क्यों होता है, क्यों नहीं होता है? क्योंकि वो आत्मदर्शी होता है, वो देहदर्शी नहीं होता। और बद्ध देहदर्शी होता है, वो देह का दर्शन करता है। तो जहां आत्मदर्शन आ जाता है, वहीं पर ही वैष्णव गुण प्रकाशित होता है। जब तक देह में आ सकते हैं, जो किरणादि शब्द है, करोड़ वैष्णव है, अमान्य है, मानव ये नहीं आ सकता। युग से एक दूसरे सम्मान दे। गुरु महाराज हमारे आचार्य नामक का आचार्य थे, पूरी परिचालना कौन करता था? नारायण महाराज जी पूरी परिचालना। मीटिंग होती थी, चुपचाप बैठे रहते, कुछ नहीं करते, नामात्म के लिए बैठे रहते। पूरा कहाँ से कहाँ भेजना है, किसे कहाँ नहीं भेजना है, किस वर्ष में क्या होना है, किस वर्ष में क्या नहीं होना है, पूरी व्यवस्था कौन करते थे? आचार्य होते थे। संपर्क आचार्य बन जाओ तो मैं करूंगा, मेरी ही चलेगा, किसी चले ही ना। और वैसे ही गुरु महाराज जी सम्मान दिया करते थे कि दोनों भी सम्मान करते थे। ज्ञान बल से परिपूर्ण, भजन बल से परिपूर्ण गुरु महाराज जी किसी से कम नहीं थे। ये भी कम नहीं थे, गुरु महाराज किसी से कम नहीं थे। होने पर भी कभी भी आचार्य बनने की इच्छा प्रकाश नहीं की, अनुगत किया। अनुगत। तो सब गुण संपन्न होते हुए अनुगत के कर लेंगे, ये संभव है। भक्तिवेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज जी हमारे शिक्षा गुरु के पास परम ज्ञान संपन्न आदर्श चरित्र होते हुए भी इतने वर्षों तक से हम 51 से लेकर के लगभग 96 तक लगभग इतने वर्षों तक कोई शिष्य बनाने की होड़ नहीं, कोई शिष्य बनाने की कोई हड़बड़ाहट नहीं। क्यों होता है? 50 आरंभ करके 96 तक कोई हड़बड़ाहट नहीं शिष्य बनाने की। हम तो उनके पास आए थे, तो उनके पास आया था, हमारे दसवीं महाराज के पास में आया था, उनके पास में आया था, चाहते हमको दिशा दे सकते। जो गुरु महाराज जी का परमेश्वर दास दिशा तो देती, मुझे केवल गोपाल मंत्र दिया, देखो गोपाल मंत्र नहीं दिया, मुझे केवल दिया था महाराज क्या हरिनाम, वो गोपाल मंत्र में नहीं दिया। एक साल तक केवल माला जब गुरु महाराज जी आए एक साल के साथ, जब कहने लगे देखो कल पर आचार्य आए हैं तो तैयार है ना, सोचो तेरे सम्मान क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्यों कर रहे हैं कि गुरु महाराज सम्मान करते थे, सम्मान देने से सम्मान मिलता है। जीवन में याद रखना, हम साधक है ना, सम्मान दोगे सम्मान मिलेगा, नहीं दोगे तो नहीं। तो ऐसे जीवन चरित्र इनका महात्मा का रूप गोस्वामी महाराज जी उनका जीवन चरित्र ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश की एक उपाधि दी जाती है। ये तीनों को मिलाकर के एक तत्व बनेगा। तीनों से एक को भी हम नहीं मानेंगे। जैसे गोस्वामी महाराज जी, इनको हम किसका प्रतीक माने? शिव का प्रतीक। तो गुरुदेव को ब्रह्मा का प्रतीक, और महाराज जी को अथवा संबंध अभिधेय प्रयोजन। गुरुदेव को मान लो संबंध तत्व के आचार्य, संबंध, और अभिधेय में किसको मानेंगे? दिव्य गोस्वामी अभिधेय, और सनातन गोस्वामी महाराज जी प्रयोजन। संबंध अभिधेय तीन तत्वों पे ही, ये तीन तत्वों के ऊपर ही वैष्णव धर्म टिका हुआ है। एक तत्व हम नहीं मानेंगे तो दो तत्व नहीं मानना हो जाएगा। तो तीनों में कौन से नहीं, तीन तत्वों के लिए एक तत्व होता है। संबंध अभिधेय प्रयोजन तीन तत्वों लेकर के एक तत्व प्रकाशित हो गया। तो ऐसा कॉम्बिनेशन, एक को मानेंगे एक को नहीं मानेंगे, समझो एक को भी नहीं मानेंगे, दो को जो मान रहे हैं ना उनको भी नहीं मानेंगे, से मानेंगे। इसलिए हमने कभी भी भेदबुद्धि नहीं किया, भेदबुद्धि करना नहीं चाहिए। अद्भुत जीव चरित्र है। अभी महाराज जी है, फिर अमलपुर से आए और इनके मुझसे श्रवण करेंगे, फिर दिन में भी बाहर के वैष्णव हो गए हैं, शाम को फिर हम श्रवण करेंगे। महाराज जी कुछ सुनाएंगे। चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयति
Shri Guru Namo Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikai Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Narayana Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Rakshak Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Namo Vishnu Padaya Acharya Krishna Gurupane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Iti Namane Vansha kalpatarubhyascha Kripa sindhubheva Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Chishe Namaha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikakanta Radhakanta Namustate Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare On this divine disappearance day of two very exalted Mahabhagavad Vaishnava personalities, Acharyas, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja. I offer my unlimited Dandavat pranams at their divine lotus feet. And I pray for their causeless mercy that we can speak something about their divine glories, qualities, service, preaching, personality, everything. First of all, I'm offering my Dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of my most worshipful beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtatarashata Sri Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet. My most worshipful beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Ashtatarashata Sri Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Ashtatarashata Sri Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī I offer my Dandavat pranams to all my Shri Rūpa Guru Varga, and I offer my Dandavat pranams to all of the Vaishnavas and to all of the Vaishnavas. So yesterday, as I was trying to get in the mood of today's glorious remembrances, what did I do? I took the book that I was introduced to, not last year, 2 years ago. And what is that book? A True Servant, a True Master. About the life and the teachings of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī. And I can tell you that just reviewing only just the introduction, where Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana speaks about him. Actually, it's two parts. First part is an overview of his life, the historical overview of his life. And then there's a second part where he's actually lecturing on his disappearance in approximately 1 or 2 years after he departed from this world. And such astonishing statements that he made. I really got, not for the first time, but I think a very powerful and deep impression of who his personality, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana is. Now, of course, all these years, since I first came on Brajmandala Brickham in 1994, so that's nearly 30 years now. But every single year I've been hearing the glories of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And hearing from the lips of personalities like our Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana directly speaking about him, and other personalities speaking about him. But yet, there's one thing that everyone needs to do if they want to meet a exalted, realized, Rupanuga, Mahābhagavad Vaishnava. You haven't met him with your eyes. Most of the devotees haven't met him with their eyes. But how do you meet? With your ears. That's the only way. Vāna. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur, he wrote an English verse, and it was placed on the samadhi of Śrīla Namacharya Haridas Thakur in Jagannath Puri. For some time it was there. It is as follows. He reasons ill who says that Vaishnavas die. What does that mean? That means if someone says, oh, this Vaishnava died, he's gone. And Bhaktivedānta Thakur said, he reasons ill. It means he has no real understanding at all of the Vaishnava. He says, he reasons ill who says that Vaishnavas die. When thou art living still in sound. You are living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live. They don't die to die. They die to live. Because they're eternal. They're only moving to another location, that's all. So the Vaishnavas die to live, and living, they try to spread the holy name around. They preach. They preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even if they're playing the role of a reclusive Vaishnava, like, for example, who? Śrīla Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. Still, they preach. Every word from their mouth is filled with unlimited depth, unlimited meaning. So, the point is that if we want to meet these divine personalities, and this doesn't only apply to our contemporary Vaishnavacharyas and great devotees who lived in this modern era, but this applies to all of the divine personalities. Otherwise, why is there this the greatest work of all Vedic knowledge called Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the king of all Shastras? These are the teachings of many, many divine personalities. Why are we reading that 5,000 years later? Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come and empower the 6 Goswamis, especially Rūpa Sanātana Gauḍīya, Raghunath Goswami, etc.? Why? Oh, so that they would write books, that they would demonstrate by their life the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu didn't write books. He empowered them to write books. You want to meet them? Yes, we want to meet them. Any devotee would want to meet Rūpa Goswami. How are you going to meet him? Only by going deep into what he has given, in his teachings, in his writings. That's how we meet these personalities. There is no other way. We also meet them through the transcendental vibration of those who are followers of him. Namely what? Rūpa Nuga Vaishnavas. Those who are realized Rūpa Nuga Vaishnavas. We can meet Rūpa Gosvāmī through their sound vibration. So in the same way, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana, he is describing Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And it's amazing how he describes his life, his personality. And I learned new things that I didn't completely know. I knew to some extent, but not fully. When did I see Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja with my eyes? 30 years ago. Right here, sitting here in this temple room in 1994, at the end of our Brajmandala Parikrama, which was the first time that I came on the Brajmandala Parikrama with Śrīla Narayana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And I was upstairs on the roof section here, and suddenly there was a personality who was speaking through the microphone, and I looked down, and there was this effulgent personality, Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī. I didn't know him at that time. When I came to the lotus feet of Śrīla Narayana, I did not know about so much about Bhaktivedānta Samiti, who's the Acharya, like this. But at that point, then it was pointed out to me, oh, Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja is the Acharya of the Bhaktivedānta Samiti. Oh, okay. Now, our Gurudev, Śrīla Narayana, when we Westerners came to his lotus feet, he was our everything. He was our mother, our father, our guru, our guide, our deepest heart friend, our Siksha guru, everything. He was and is. So we didn't have the opportunity to directly associate with Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja because we were always with him. He went on Parikrama with him. We traveled around the world trying to assist him. But gradually over time, then Śrīla Narayana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he manifested the biography of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And then there was some information about Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's life and so forth. Anyway, the point I'm making is that as the time went by, more information came. And then the Rays of the Harmonist magazine manifested. And in that magazine, many times, over many years, there were articles written by Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja and also his lectures. So gradually we came to understand. I remember in Mayapur, at the Samadhi of Śrīla Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and it was probably around the year 2000, 2001, something like that. Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was brought there. Our Gurudev was also there, Śrīla Narayana. And he was brought there and given a seat in front of the Samadhi. And then at that point, the devotees were kind of coaxing him to speak something. Speak. And he shook his head in agreement. But actually he didn't end up speaking anything. But because at that point he was already going very deeply into his internal roots. And that was what manifested to his final few years on the planet. He was not outwardly speaking and interacting, completely, deeply absorbed in his internal life. I do remember one day when he was there in Devananda Gauḍīya in Navadvip. He was there every year, and usually he was in his room, and our birthday was in the next room. And so the devotees at the morning time, they would come, they would circumambulate both rooms after the Bhagavad like that, Kirtan, and they would come and circumambulate and pay obeisance. So I got up the courage one day to approach Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja, like a foolish, innocent child. Anyway, I came there, and he was sitting on his bed, asana, with a pillow, and his hands were there chanting. So I bowed down in front of him. And then I sat up and I looked at him with folded arms. That, "Oh Maharaj, please give me your mercy." And you know what he responded? "Why only you? I'm asking, please give me your mercy." And he said, "Why only you?" He said it in a very soft way. He said, "I am giving my mercy to everyone." And that was my only direct vocal exchange that I had with him while he was on the planet. And I understood, Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja told us that every day Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana, and this is in his final 2-3 years on the planet, every day Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja is chanting 2 lakhs of Harinam. And then we were told that the first lakh that he would chant of the 2. The first lakh is for all living entities. He's chanting that lakh for all living entities. And the second lakh for himself. So I'm just going to read a little bit. I'm not given much time because there's going to be other speakers. And I can talk for the next couple of hours easily by reading this nectar from this book. But I wanted to read, first of all, Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja's final words in his article here. His final words. He says, "I lived with Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja for almost 60 years. And I had the opportunity to closely observe him, and to understand him. He possessed all the qualities that are inherent in a Vaishnava. All the Vaishnava qualities he possessed. By nature, he was simple. He was brave, humble, tolerant, overflowing with Guru Nishtha. And he was inclined to serve the Vaishnavas. This situated him on the highest level of bhakti. His Guru Nishtha was astounding. His Guru Nishtha was astounding. He witnessed this. Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja witnessed this throughout that 60 years. He said his Guru Nishtha was astounding. With his life in his hands, he would step forward and he would offer himself in the service of Guru Maharaj. Guru Nishtha. Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. We've heard that so many times. And I have seen many Guru Sevaks in my life. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja says, I've seen many Guru Sevaks, but Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja's service to Guru Maharaj with his body, his mind, his words, and sentiments was extraordinary. In this world, such a Guru Sevak is rare. We pray to him that while engaged in this eternal service of Sri Gurudev and Sri Radha Krishna, because he's already departed from the planet, so Sri Radha Krishna, we're praying to him that while he's engaged in the eternal service of Sri Gurudev, Sri Radha Krishna, that he be merciful upon us all, so that we can also perform Guru Seva with Nishtha like him. And we can thus dedicate our lives to Sri Guru and his mission. So, in the biography of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana, this short section of the beginning of this book, I just wanted to read a couple more. Here he has a description of the shy nature of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. His shy nature, very shy. So he says, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj is of a very shy disposition. He hardly speaks to anyone. And when he does, he speaks very little. Once, I remember, we went preaching somewhere, and Guru Maharaj, meaning Bhaktivedānta Maharaj, he told Vāmana Maharaj to give class. He was so anxious about how he was going to do so. He was so anxious, Vāmana Maharaj, how he was going to give class. So he took a volume of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta. He started reading a verse. His pronunciation was very beautiful. Very beautiful. He then read the translation, and then he went on to read another verse, and that verse's translation, and somehow like this, he got through the class. Guru Maharaj saw this shy nature of his, and he tried to change him gradually. Vāmana Maharaj was then in charge of publishing the Śrīla Gauḍīya Maṭha, and he did whatever was required to get it published. Then Guru Maharaj told him to go preaching, and the responsibility for publication work was given to someone else. So now he's coaxing him. Vāmana Maharaj was very sad. Why was he sad? Because that service that he had been doing for so many years was now being turned over to someone else, and he's being told to go out and preach. So he felt that he was being sent away from the mat, from Chuchura. Although rather unhappy to go preaching, when he came back, he had changed completely. His nature had changed completely. Although he was unhappy to go preaching, but when he came back, he had changed completely. After that, he started giving lectures and explanations of Shastra that would go on for hours and hours. We can manage half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, maybe an hour we can manage, but he carries on explaining complex Tattva Siddhanta for hours. And in very simple, understandable language. Because he has such masterful command of the Bengali language and of the Gauḍīya Siddhanta. And also, he has his own unique way of refuting the misconceptions of others. He does not refute people
in a way that is so apparent to them that they realize that they're being refuted. No, he doesn't do it in that way. In a very polite and very humble language, he lays out every aspect of the issue, but people do not understand that he is refuting them. However, the way that people approach him, he reciprocates accordingly. I saw him in Chuchura one time, sitting with the neighborhood children, telling them a ghost story, an experience he had once traveling late at night in a remote region of the Cholis Pargana. You probably all have heard this story before, about the marriage of the ghosts. So Śrīla Bhaktivedānta is telling this to the little children, a ghost story. He had encountered a marriage party of ghosts in the middle of the night in a desolate cremation ground. And he told the children that the only way that he had escaped the macabre festivities that night was because he had tulsi beads on his neck and his japamala with him, and he was chanting Harinam loudly. Then the children would then come every day to hear stories like this. And another time, while I was preaching somewhere, I saw Pujapat Vāmana sitting with some children. And this was after he had taken sannyas. And they were asking him, can you read palms? Children are asking him, can you read palms? Yes, he said. And they started showing him their hands. He said, look, your mind is restless, and you have stomach problems. You can actually tell this just by looking at a person, especially if they are really skinny. Your health is not good, you have a stomach problem, and you cannot focus on your studies. Your mind is restless. So just by looking at them, you could tell something about them. People would be impressed and they would say, he has mystic powers. So in this way, he interacts with everyone on their level. And if true spiritual seekers come, then he deals accordingly with them. So Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, it is said here that he was the biographer of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī. He was his biographer. And he was also his flawless scribe. So Pujapat Vāmana Mahārāja's power of memory is extraordinary. He is a very eloquent speaker and writer. What a prolific writer he is. After Guru Mahārāja's disappearance, Vāmana Mahārāja compiled the history of Guru Mahārāja's transcendental life. He had regularly noted down Guru Mahārāja's activities, his pastimes, and so he compiled this information into a biography covering Guru Mahārāja's entire life, from his appearance to his disappearance. It includes accounts of Guru Mahārāja's accepting the shelter of Śrīla Prabhupada, of him serving the Gauḍīya Maṭha, of his nishtha in Prabhupada, of his developing Mayapur, of his establishing Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Samiti, and then preaching all over India. His parikramas of various dhams and tirthas. And the book also describes all the pilgrimages that we went on with Guru Mahārāja to places like Jagannath Puri, Kashidham, Ayodhya, and so forth. There's a whole list here. But most importantly, this book presents Guru Mahārāja's conceptions in a truly marvelous way. For the articles in the Śrī Gauḍīya Patrika and the various books that Guru Mahārāja wrote, he would give dictation just once, only once, and not have to review it. Why? Because Pujapat Vāmana Mahārāja would take care of everything else. Vāmana Mahārāja would compile the Patrika, collecting material from various sources. Guru Mahārāja would provide one essay, while Vāmana Mahārāja would see to everything else. And in those days, there were no cassettes or recorders. So when Guru Mahārāja would give lectures, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj would take notes. He could write very fast. And once in a single month, in 30 days, Guru Maharaj gave lectures at over 40 different places. And whenever Guru Maharaj spoke, Vāmana Maharaj would quickly note down what he was saying. All of those lectures were published in the Gauḍīya Patrika. He would travel everywhere with Guru Maharaj. It would be the middle of Parikrama. Guru Maharaj would be dictating to him non-stop without pausing. There would be so many people around, but Vāmana Maharaj Ji would not miss a thing. So when I came, I did not know him or anyone else. I only knew Pujapad Madhusudan Maharaj Ji, whose name was Narottamnanda Brahmachari at that time. So I would write to him and I would give him my letters to Guru Maharaj to respond to. Guru Maharaj would then have Vāmana Maharaj write the responses. That is, when Guru Maharaj started addressing me as Tiwari Ji. It was first by letter. And when I came to the Math, I did not know Vāmana Maharaj Ji, but I had received many letters from him on Guru Maharaj's behalf. So I knew only his handwriting. And when I left everything, and I came to the Math in December of 1946, I arrived at the station in Navadvip, and I saw someone carrying a lantern looking for me. He came up to me and asked, "Are you Tiwari Ji?" And I said, "Yes, who are you?" He said, "I am the one who has been writing your letters on behalf of Guru Maharaj." Then I asked him, "But how did you know that I was coming? How did you know?" And then he said, "Guru Maharaj said you would be coming tonight," he said. I had not, however, written anything about coming. I had just left suddenly, arriving there in the middle of the night around 11 via Katwa and Bardhaman. And when I got there, I did not know where to go. That's when I saw him, and he took me to the Math. And one time in Chuchura, he was entering some corrections after proofreading. His hand was badly injured in the press. There was no one else there to enter the corrections, and he was by himself. And he had started up the press and began feeding the paper into it when somehow the press crushed his hand. His finger was badly injured. And Guru Maharaj, with tears in his eyes, took him straight to Kolkata, to the medical college there. Guru Maharaj kept him there for 2 or 3 days for treatment and did not leave his side till he was better. Guru Maharaj was visibly shaken, disturbed. He was crying for him. Normally, Guru Maharaj was a very grave and composed person. He was never seen to be in such an emotional state. Another time also, when Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj fell ill, Guru Maharaj dropped everything he was doing to take him to Shimla for treatment. And of course, we cannot exclude the mention of his title, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. What was he? The Encyclopedia of Gauḍīya Siddhanta. Everyone knows him as that. And Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj, he was a Shrutikar. He would remember everything he hears. He only has to hear something once to remember it, even big long verses. The rest of us will recite a verse repeatedly, trying to memorize it, trying to grind it in, make it stick, and still we forget half the verse. I see that he is like the encyclopedia of the Gauḍīya Maṭha. He can produce references from everywhere. He can recite Bhagavad Gita all the way through without pausing. He can do the same with Vedanta Sutra and all the main verses of Bhagavatam. So Guru Maharaj, once he took 5 sannyasis and 10 to 12 brahmacharis preaching in Assam. We came to the village of Baripada, which was largely populated by the disciples of Shankar Dev, who had written the so-called 13th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. This is the last thing that I'll mention, because there's other speakers. This is interesting. I didn't know this. So they went to this village, Baripada, in Assam. So there were some disciples of a person who was named Shankar Dev, who had written the so-called 13th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. His followers worshipped Bhagavan Sri Krishna, but they also ate meat, fish, and other such foodstuffs. So in a large gathering, Guru Maharaj declared that the mouths of those who perform bhajan of Sri Krishna while eating meat and fish and drinking alcohol are like sewers full of stool and urine. Who said this? Bhaktivedānta. So, upon hearing this, Shankaradeva's many followers began to attack the devotees on stage with sticks and stones. It was chaos. People were scattering, but Guru Maharaj remained still and calm. If you want to fight, he said gravely, we can also take up sticks and stones, but you should calm down and listen. Those with questions or doubts are welcome to present them. Then in the course of the following discussion, the followers of Shankaradev declared Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary person, not an incarnation of Bhagavan, and they requested evidence of his supreme position. They wanted evidence. Guru Maharaj then motioned to Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja, who promptly stood up, quoted around 35 verses, one after another, starting with Krishna Varnam Visa Krishna and Chandra Avatar, to prove that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indeed Bhagavan. The audience was astonished, and they were silenced. So in this way, the preaching program turned out to be quite a success. And one special quality that Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Maharaj possessed, he never praises himself. Never praises himself. We, somehow or other, we find a way to praise ourselves, but I've never seen this in him. If I am present, he will not speak. He will just keep telling me, you speak. And I will say, no, please, you speak. The audience has to just sit there for 10 minutes, watching us go back and forth like this. If I say something wrong when I speak, he will not correct me. Even after the class is over, he'll not say anything. Once, when we were at the Shyama-Sundar temple in Vrindavan, I said that Sri Baladev Vibhushan had established the temple, but it's Sri Shyamananda Prabhu's temple. Only several days later, he finally mentioned that this temple had actually been established by Shyamananda Prabhu, not Baladev Vibhushan. So he will never directly correct or contradict me, and whenever I am with him, he will always ask me to speak. He has this manner of giving respect to me and to everyone. This is the nature of the Vaishnava, to always give honor to others. And although Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj is the Acharya, he is completely devoid of the pride of being an Acharya. And throughout his life, he has always remained under the guidance of his god brothers. So during Navadvip Parikrama, before he gives initiations, he comes to Srila Trivikram Maharaj and he says, "Oh Maharaj, please give me permission to give initiations." I once sent Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj a letter requesting him to come to Mathura because many people there wanted to take Harinam and Diksha initiation. And he wrote back saying, "I told you long ago, and I am telling you again, that you yourself should, without hesitation, give Harinam and Diksha initiation. My health is not good. If you do this, it will save me from having to travel, and the preaching there will not be hindered." So how rare it is to find a Vaishnava Acharya like him, who, with trust and magnanimity, instructs his godbrother to give Harinam and Diksha. These days, so many quarrels take place over this issue. And Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj, he was also very discreet in how he gives money to people. No one knows what or how much he gives or to whom. And after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, I was doing some renovation work in Sri Gauḍīya Maṭha. We were not receiving many donations as we were not really acquainted with anyone in Mathura at that time. So I did not know how I was going to manage. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj found out, and without telling anyone, very discreetly, he gave 5,000 rupees toward the project. That was how the renovation started, and slowly, we were able to do all this. The pranami comes to him, but he does not advertise what he gives and to whom. You should give with one hand in such a way that your other hand does not know. And do not even ask about his affection for his disciples. He has so much affection for them. He speaks so affectionately with each of them that each disciple feels he loves him or her the most. He loves them so much. I do not know how to love so much. He really knows how to love. And though he has this affection for his disciples, he is still very detached. So, in this way, in this wonderful book, which everyone should read because it's available in Hindi, yes, also, only in English. It hasn't been translated yet. Okay, you're going to have to learn English to read this book. A true servant, a true master. It's so wonderful. I read about 3 or 4 letters last night, and let me tell you, I've never seen letters like his by any acharya. The way he expresses himself, so simple, so self-demeaning. You know, my last thing I'll say in his glories is that in one of those letters, he was writing to a person who was named Rūpa Sanātana. Don't know who that is. Anyway, he was writing to him, and it was quite long. It was like a 4 or 5 page letter. But in that letter, he mentioned something about his nose being broken. Did you ever hear that pastime before? I never heard that before. He mentioned about his nose being broken, and then he mentioned something about comparing that to Suparnaka's nose being cut off and so forth. And he's like self-demeaning. I can't quite remember exactly how he expressed it, okay? But then, it was mentioned there, a description of how that his nose was broken. And there was one devotee who was, I think, a little bit elderly devotee, didn't say his name, but he was kind of going blind. He was kind of going blind. And he was given the duty to guard the prasadam plate that was being saved for Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana, right? And he was guarding it. He had a stick. Why? Guarding it from who? From the dogs that would come. If he wasn't there, the dogs would come and they would eat it. So, when Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana came, very quietly he just sat down. And he didn't speak anything, he didn't say anything. And he started to take prasadam in a very deep internal mood, taking prasadam. But this blind devotee heard something, and he assumed that this was dogs who were eating off the plate. And you know what he did? He came with a stick and he went wham! Right in the face of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja, and his nose was broken. You ever heard that? And Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja made very light of it, that he mentioned that later that devotee's eyes were treated. And he only joked about it, but it was very severe. Can you imagine? If that happened to us, can you imagine how we would respond? Not in a humble way. No. You would get up and you would probably use that stick on that person. Okay. But at any rate, these are just some few of all the astonishing qualities, pastimes, teachings, everything. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja is topmost Rūpa Acharya in our line. He's in that category. And there's more, which if I had more time, I'd read it. How Śrīla Narayana told that in his final days, he was only expressing his moods of very deep Rupa transcendental meditations in his heart. That's all. Absorbed 24 hours a day in that way. So Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīla Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja, just for 2 minutes, I'm telling that Śrīla Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja's first time that I met him was in that same year, 1994, at the beginning of Kartik, in Mathura. And many of us, Western devotees, were really coming for the first time to be with Śrīla Narayana Maharaj on the Brajbandhava Parikramā. So when we came there on the first day of Kartik, the morning, and it happens to be the disappearance day, Param Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Maṭha. We didn't really even, maybe we knew that, but when we came into the temple room there were two personalities sitting side by side. Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja and another very stout person sitting next to him. So Śrīla Gurudev, first of all, said his Mahārāja. And he said, today we are very fortunate because my very intimate godbrother, Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Bhaktivedānta Gauḍīya Maṭha, is now present here in this assembly with us. And I just want to tell you, to us, he's speaking in English to us. He says, you should not be afraid of him. He looks very fierce, but actually inside, he is so soft. And then he requested Śrīla Bhaktivedānta to be the first person to speak. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta began to say his pranams to his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivedānta Maṭha. And as he was saying his pranams, he completely broke down, weeping, helplessly weeping, like a child. Then we understood what kind of disciple he is. And then he began to condemn himself. He began to condemn himself openly. I've never done any service for my Guru Maharaj. I have failed. I have not done service to him. So he spoke very short. And after that, Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja told us, you should understand that this is his Vaishnava humility, but he has done so much service. So there's a nice little book called, what's the title of that little book?
A Life of Humble Service.
Yeah, a humble servant, And you should read that book, because it's all, the whole qualities and activities of Śrīla Maharaj are there. But I would like to speak more, but the time has now gone. So I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat pranam to the lotus feet of our most worshipable Acharya Dev, Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja on his divine disappearance day, and our most worshipable Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja on his divine disappearance day. They both disappeared on the same day, a couple of years apart. And our Gurudev also wanted to disappear on that day during Kartik in 2010. But for some reason, Krishna kept him. But what did he do? In Jagannath Puri, he waited. No one was informing Gurudev what day it is it Ekadasi day, this or that, or tomorrow is the appearance day of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta. No one was informing Gurudev intentionally. But he disappeared on the appearance day of Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja, proving that the three personalities, as you already heard from Parameshwara, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they maintained this Gauḍīya Vedanta Samiti flawlessly for decades. And they were so united. So we should understand, they were the perfect examples of completely selfless, egoless, self-demeaning Vaishnavas. And so I offer my Dandavat pranams to their lotus feet on this day of their divine disappearance. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhi vajapatita Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Tadiya Tirubha Mahamahotsav Titi ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
माइक को ऊपर करो, माइक को।
सर्वप्रथम परम आराध्य गुरुदेव श्रीला भक्तिवेदांत तत्पश्चात अभिन्न गुरुपाद भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज उपस्थित पूज्यपाद भक्तिवेदांत महाराज सबके चरणों में आज हमने एक विशेष तिथि को उपलक्ष्य में यहाँ पर श्रवण कीर्तन का सौभाग्य प्राप्त करें। श्रीला भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज एवं श्रीला भक्तिवेदांत कीर्तन गोस्वामी महाराज जी की शुभ तिरुभाव करें। अभी हमने महाराज के मुख से श्रवण किया, वो एक ग्रंथ की भूमिका में से पढ़ रहे थे कि किस प्रकार गुरुदेव ने अपने देश गुरु भ्राता श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज जी के जीवन चरित्र को जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने अपने जीवन में उसको देखा, उसका अनुभव किया, उसको दिखा। बहुत सुंदर रूप से इसका वर्णन महाराज जी कर रहे थे। और
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
समय हम लोगों के पास अधिक नहीं है, किंतु कुछ एक विशेष उनकी गुरुवर की गुणावली को कीर्तन करने के लिए मैं गुरु वैष्णव के अनुगत में चर्चा करूंगा। जैसे कि हमने श्रवण किया, वैष्णवों का स्मरण हम लोगों के लिए एक संपत्ति है और उनका विस्मरण एक विपदा है। ऐसा क्यों? हमारे गुरुजन बताते हैं कि ये जो उनका आविर्भाव की तिथि के उपलक्ष्य में हम लोग श्रवण कीर्तन का सौभाग्य प्राप्त करते हैं, उनके जीवन चरित्र को अनुशीलन करने का सौभाग्य प्राप्त करते हैं। इसके माध्यम से हमको चित्त बल की प्राप्ति होती है, क्योंकि परमार्थी जीवन में अग्रसर होने के लिए चित्त बल अति आवश्यक है। जड़ीय बल से हम उसमें अग्रसर नहीं हो सकते, शारीरिक कसरत से हम भक्ति का साधन नहीं कर सकते। तो महापुरुषों के जीवन चरित्र को श्रवण करने से, उसका अनुशीलन करने से जो चित्त बल प्राप्त होता है, अथवा अपने जीवन को उनके जीवन से एक तुलनात्मक स्तर पर रखने से जो एक अपने, अभी जैसे महाराज जी बता रहे थे कि अपने आप को डिमिनिशिंग, अपने आप को तुच्छ स्थिति में अनुभव होता है, तभी जाकर कुछ हृदय से निष्कपट प्रार्थनाएं निकलती। अभी हम लोगों ने जो महापुरुष के जीवन चरित्र श्रवण कर रहे थे, उनके जीवन का एक विशेष जो एक विशेषता रही। हर वैष्णवाचार्य की अपनी विशेषता है, क्योंकि श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जो विशेषता रही, उनका जीवन अनुगत्यमय था। जब वो मठ में आए तो प्रथमता ही श्री विनोद बिहारी ब्रह्मचारी जो हमारे परम गुरुदेव थे, उनके अनुगत्य में उन्होंने सेवा आरंभ की। वैष्णवों की सेवा करते थे चैतन्य मठ, किंतु विशेष हमारे परम गुरुदेव श्री भक्ति का ज्ञान के स्वामी महाराज जो विनोद बिहारी ब्रह्मचारी थे, उनके अनुगत्य में विशेष रूप से रहकर सेवा करते हैं, तो उसी के प्रभाव से उन्हें उनके प्रति प्रीति अधिक वर्धित हुई। तत्पश्चात उनके भावी जीवन में जब उनको आचार्य के रूप में उन्होंने सेवा आरंभ की, तभी जैसे कि हमने श्रवण किया कि किस प्रकार से उन्होंने अपने गुरु भाइयों के अनुगत्य में रहकर सेवा की, आचार्य की भूमिका को निभाया। जैसे कि अभी महाराज जी बता रहे थे कि गुरुदेव के पास दीक्षा देने के लिए जब समय बताते मार्गी परिक्रमा के समय गुरुदेव के पास जाते थे और उनसे प्रार्थना करते थे कि मैं कुछ पाप करने जा रहा हूँ, आप मुझ पर कृपा करें। इस प्रकार संपूर्ण जीवन उनका अनुगत्य में था। गौड़िया वेदांत समिति का एक कमेटी थी मेंबर। एक बार मुझे बात गोदान महाराज भक्ति गुरु गोदान महाराज बता रहे थे कि विश्व वैष्णव राज्यसभा का प्रोग्राम था मायापुर में, क्योंकि श्री भामना गोस्वामी महाराज एक आचार्य थे वेदांत समिति के। उस विश्व वैष्णव राज्यसभा में उन्होंने समस्त गौड़िया मठों के आचार्यों को निमंत्रण दिया, खुद जाकर निमंत्रण कर रहे थे। श्री भामना गोस्वामी महाराज जी के पास जब वो आए तो उनसे निवेदन किया कि विश्व वैष्णव राज्यसभा का एक आयोजन है और समस्त गौड़िया मठों के जो वैष्णव है आचार्य हैं वो लोग इसमें योगदान करेंगे। तो आप गौड़िया वेदांत समिति के आचार्य हैं, आप कृपा पूर्वक इस आयोजन में अपना योगदान देकर हम पे कृपा करें। तो श्री भामना गोस्वामी महाराज जी ने कहा, देखो आपका जो कार्यक्रम है एक साधुवाद का है, किंतु मैं स्वतंत्र नहीं हूँ। यदि भी मैं संस्था के आचार्य हैं और किसी प्रकार का निर्णय लेने के लिए उनको किसी प्रकार की बाध्यता नहीं है। उन्होंने कहा कि मैं किसी भी निर्णय को लेने के लिए स्वतंत्र नहीं हूँ, हमारी एक कमेटी है, मुझे उनसे परमिशन या उनको इस संबंध में अवगत कराना पड़ेगा। अगर वो मुझे कहेंगे जाने के लिए तो मैं अवश्य जाऊंगा। तो ये तो एक साधारण सा उदाहरण है कि किस प्रकार से उन्होंने किसी भी क्रिया एक कदम भी अनुगत्य से बाहर नहीं। यह अनुगत्य में जीवन है। तत्पश्चात आप देखेंगे कि जैसे कि अभी हमने समझ किया किस प्रकार से भामना गोस्वामी महाराज संकोची स्वभाव के, संकोच शाही नेचर, और कभी भी अपनी मान प्रतिष्ठा के लिए वृत्ति मात्र भी इच्छुक नहीं थी, बल्कि उसके विपरीत वहां से दूर भाग। तो उनको हृदय में कदापि ये स्वीकृत नहीं था कि उनके तिरोभाव तिथि को स्वतंत्र रूप में मनाया जाए। अब देखिए कितनी डीप रूटेड अनुगत्य में भावना है, कितनी गहन है हृदय में। स्वतंत्र कहाँ से भागी उन्होंने चिंतन किया कि मेरे तिरोभाव को स्वतंत्र रूप से मनाना, उसकी एक अलग तिथि होगी, उसका अलग आयोजन होगा। तो उसमें भी उन्होंने एक अनुगत्य स्वीकार किया। क्या अपने देश गुरु भ्राता भक्तिवेदांता गोस्वामी महाराज जी की तिथि के अनुगत होकर ही उन्होंने इस धराधाम से अप्रकट लीला प्रकाश किया। इस प्रकार से उनका संपूर्ण जीवन अनुगत्य में रहा। यह एक बहुत बड़ी शिक्षा भक्ति साधक के लिए जो त्रिनाद की सुनी से जरूर सही सुन अमानी न मान देना कीर्तन ही सदा है। तो ये जो चार महावाक्य हैं महाप्रभु के शिक्षा में, ये 200% श्रील भामना गोस्वामी महाराज जी के जीवन चरित्र में देखने को मिलता है। इसके अतिरिक्त उनका जो हम लोगों का अनुशीलन का विषय क्या है, हम लोग देखते हैं कि अनुगत्य में जीवन हम लोगों को आजकल रास नहीं आता, लेकिन वैष्णव धर्म ही अनुगत्य में जीवन का। हम लोग हर क्षेत्र में आजकल है ना शिक्षा का प्रणाली, लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज होनी चाहिए। ये तो आपको तुच्छ दृष्टि से देखा जाता है, किंतु जैसा कि अभी हमने श्रवण किया डाई टू लिव, भक्ति रक्षक श्रीला गोस्वामी महाराज इस बात को बोलते थे श्रील वामन गोस्वामी महाराज के जीवन में देखने को मिला, डाई टू लिव। यदि आप परमार्थिक जीवन जीना है तो डाई टू लिव, लिव मैंने परमार्थिक जीवन, डाई माने जो जागतिक विचारधारा है, मैं श्रेष्ठ बनूंगा, मैं लीडर बनूंगा, उसको आपको त्यागना है। यह है जो विशेषताओं के जीवन चरित्र में साक्षात देखने को मिलती है। कोई ग्रंथ में लिखी हुई बातें नहीं, हम लोग जीवन का साक्षात देखा, गुरुदेव से श्रवण किया। अपनी व्यास पूजा के दिन तो किसी को कुछ बताए बिना कुछ ऐसे स्थान पर चले जाते थे जहाँ कोई भी नहीं, मात्र एक उनका शिष्य साथ में होता। अब एक इतने बड़ी समिति के आचार्य हैं और आचार्य का कार्य करते हुए प्राय 30 साल हो गए। परम गुरुदेव के 1968 में, 68 से लेकर प्राय 96 के आसपास वो इस प्रकार की लीला करते थे। अब इतने सारे शिष्य हो गए इतने सारे वर्षों में, लेकिन कभी भी उन्होंने इस चीज की अनुमति नहीं दी कि मेरे आविर्भाव तिथि में आप लोग व्यास पूजा करें। यदि उनको कान में सुनाई देता कि आयोजन हो रहा, एक रात पहले ही वहां से कहीं अज्ञात स्थान पर चले जाते। इस प्रकार से प्रतिष्ठा से कितना दूर होती, अर्थात प्रतिष्ठा उनकी सेवा के लिए प्रस्तुत होने पर भी वह रत्ती भर भी उसे सहयोग नहीं दी। किंतु अंततः श्री गुरुदेव के निवेदन पर उन्होंने अपने अंतिम वर्षों में इस चीज को स्वीकार किया। गुरुदेव ने निवेदन किया, गुरुदेव उनके शिष्य लोग जो आश्रम से कह रहे थे कि हम हमारे गुरुदेव की रात पूजा के आयोजन करते हैं, क्योंकि गुरुदेव तो उस समय रहते नहीं, हम लोगों को बहुत दुख होता है, इतने सारे शिष्य करते होते हम लोगों की बात। गुरुदेव ने कहा कि मैं आप लोगों के लिए प्रयास करूंगा। तब उन्होंने गुरुदेव ने श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज से निवेदन किया, ये आपके आश्रित जन यदि गुरु की भक्ति नहीं करेंगे, उनकी व्यास पूजा को तो क्या सीखेंगे, किस प्रकार से आगे बढ़ेंगे। तो श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज जी ने कुछ नहीं बोला, केवल निवेदन करते हुए अपना सिर हिला दिया। उसके बाद से वो उस आविर्भाव तिथि को मनाने लगे। यहाँ भी देखिए, यहाँ भी हम करते हैं, जब तक गुरुदेव का आदेश नहीं मिला उन्होंने स्वतंत्र रूप से अपनी व्यास पूजा को स्वीकार नहीं किया। गुरुदेव ने कहा, निवेदन किया, तब उन्होंने उसको स्वीकृति दी। ये अनुगत्य में जो जीवन है ये असाधारण है। हम लोग ऐसी तिथियों पे गुरु की महिमा श्रवण करके एक सदगुरु की क्या लक्षण होते हैं, कैसे कैसे उन्होंने गुरु का कार्य किया। लेकिन उससे भी पहले अति आवश्यक जो हम लोगों के लिए, साधक के लिए, मेरे जैसे अधम के लिए, इस प्रकार से एक सत्य शिष्य बनाना। सत्य गुरु का महिमा अभी इतनी आवश्यक नहीं है। एक सत्य शिष्य का कैसा जीवन चरित्र होता है, कैसा उसका आचरण होता है, किस प्रकार का उसका अनुगत्य में जीवन है, किस प्रकार की उसकी गुणावली है, वो श्रील वामन गोस्वामी महाराज के जीवन को अनुशीलन करने से स्पष्ट हो जाए। क्योंकि एक सत्य शिष्य हुए बिना सदगुरु नहीं हुआ जाता। तो ये उनकी अपार महिमा थी। अब हम लोग इस प्रकार से केवल श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज जी, गोस्वामी महाराज जी, इनकी जो गुरु निष्ठा थी अद्भुत। गुरु निष्ठा तो क्या बोला कि मेरुदंड, भक्ति का मेरुदंड। और अगर मेरुदंड ठीक नहीं है तो शरीर भी ठीक नहीं है, बैकबोन ठीक नहीं है तो आपका पूरा सिस्टम डिस्टर्ब है, आप कोई कार्य ठीक से नहीं कर सकते। इसी प्रकार जो भक्ति का मेरुदंड अर्थात बैकबोन है, अगर वो ठीक नहीं है तो भक्ति की कुछ भी क्रिया नहीं हो सकती, उसमें अग्रसर नहीं किया जा सकता। तो सर्वप्रथम तो उसकी जो योग्यता है गुरु निष्ठा, अभूतपूर्व गुरु निष्ठा। हम लोगों ने श्रवण किया, जैसा कि इस ग्रंथ में भी है कि किस प्रकार से परम गुरुदेव के साथ जो चैतन्य मठ में प्रभुपाद जी के पश्चात जिस प्रकार से व्यवहार हुआ, श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज उसके साक्षी थे। और अकेले उन्होंने उस केस के लिए पैरवी की। और उसके बाद में उनकी जो निष्ठा देखी गई, उनको बहुत से लोगों ने डिस्टर्ब करेंगे, ये देखो नो ब्रह्मचारी इस प्रकार के, लेकिन उनकी जो निष्ठा थी रत्ती भर भी विचलित नहीं हुई। इस प्रकार की हम लोग गुरु के संबंध में बहुत कुछ सुनने वाले इधर उधर से, यदि निष्ठा उसमें रहती है तो यही वास्तव में क्या है श्री गुरु चरण रति सही से उत्तम गति। हम लोगों का उद्देश्य ही यही है। जीवन का उद्देश्य क्या है? गुरु पाद पद में रति उत्पन्न हो। हमारे एक भक्त थे, नाम का जिन्होंने ऑडियो सेवा आरंभ की थी। ना ना
ईशा
पुराने समय में जब उनकी जो ईमेल्स आया करते थे उसमें एक कोड होता था गुरु जी का, उसमें से लिखते थे कि द एम ऑफ आवर लाइफ इज कहते हैं रति। अब यहाँ पे रति क्या है? हमारे गुरुजनों के वाक्यों में एक बात पुनः पुनः कही गई है। हम लोग पूजा करते हैं गुरु श्री गुरु चरण रति सही से उत्तम गति। अब उत्तम गति यदि प्राप्त करनी है तो सब शिष्य बनना पड़ेगा। सही से उत्तम गति गुरु चरण रति होनी है। फिर क्या बोला गया? केवल गुरु का परिवार विमल वैष्णव रति उपजीवी वासना हो। यहाँ भी रति की बात बोली गई है। उसके बाद क्या बोला गया? जैसे महाराज जी पढ़ रहे थे, केवल गुरुपाद समस्त वैष्णवों की सेवा की। हम लोग यहाँ तक सुनते हैं कि उन्होंने अपने शिष्य तो उनके पास आते थे, कभी भी उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा कि तुम मेरे शिष्य हो, आप लोग वेदांत समिति के सेवक हो, मेरी प्रॉपर्टी नहीं हो। किसी भी वैष्णव की सेवा करने से वो मेरी सेवा। इस प्रकार का उदार चित्त व्यक्ति वसुधैव कुटुंबकम को वास्तव में दर्शन करने वाला, ये मेरा है, ये तुम्हारा है। ये क्या है? लघु चेतसा। किंतु जो उदार चेतसा उनका क्या? वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, समस्त भगवत संबंध के कारण पूरे विश्व को अपने परिवार के रूप में देखा। तो ये जो रति अपने सेवकों को बोलते हैं आप किसी भी मठ में सेवा करोगे मेरी सेवा की, क्योंकि प्रभुपाद जी से संबंधित किसी भी सेवक की प्रभुपाद से संबंधित, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपने पहले काल में प्रभुपाद जी के आश्रितों की सेवा की, उनसे संबंध को विमल वैष्णव वृत्ति को प्राप्त की। इसलिए उनको किसी प्रकार की चिंता नहीं थी कि मेरे आश्रित किसी अन्य मठ में जाके अन्य वैष्णव की सेवा करते हैं, उससे उनको प्रसन्नता होती। फिर रति की बात बोलेंगे, विमल वैष्णव रति उपदेवे वासना हो। अभी हमारे गुरु जी कीर्तन करते हैं क्या? नामे रति उपजीवे नामे रति हो गए प्रेम उपजीवे प्रेमे के हरि के पास। नामे रति की तो बात है। तो गुरु रति, वैष्णव रति, नाम रति अभी कहाँ से प्राप्त होगी? ऐसे महापुरुष जिनकी वास्तव में गुरु रति है, वैष्णव रति है, नाम रति है, उनके चरणों में प्रार्थना करने से ही ये कुछ अंश प्राप्त करने की हमारा कोई सौभाग्य हो सकता है। श्रील गोस्वामी महाराज, अब एक समय का तो अभाव है, एक अंतिम बात कहते हैं विराम होगा। हम लोगों ने जब गुरुदेव को श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज जी को श्री गोस्वामी परम गुरु संन्यास लेना था, संन्यास के बाद भी जब आचार्य पद घोषित करने की बात हुई, परम गुरु जी के बाद कौन आचार्य होगा, तो सबसे पहले श्री गोस्वामी महाराज जी को अप्रोच किया गया परम गुरु जी। उन्होंने साफ साफ उसके लिए रिफ्यूज कर दिया कि मैं इसकी योग्यता को प्राप्त नहीं। गुरुदेव से बात की गई, लेकिन गुरुदेव भी पीछे हट गए। श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज जो कि बचपन पहले काल से परम गुरु जी के साथ थे, एक बालक समय से, तो उनको जब ये प्रपोजल दिया गया कि आपको ये दायित्व संभालना है, उन्होंने क्या बोला कि मेरी अनिच्छा होने पर भी रोते रोते मैंने इस गुरु दायित्व को स्वीकार किया। मेरी इच्छा नहीं थी, लेकिन क्योंकि गुरु दायित्व आ गया और अन्य कोई उसको संभालने को तैयार नहीं, इसलिए उसको मैंने रोते रोते स्वीकार किया। सुरक्षित रूप से नहीं, हंसते हंसते नहीं, इतना बड़ा दायित्व है। इस प्रकार से एक संत शिष्य के रूप में उनकी किस प्रकार की भूमिका रही, ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही खुशी का विषय है। गुरु सदगुरु को एक आगे का स्टेप है, क्योंकि संत शिष्य में उन्होंने किस प्रकार से उस आचरण को अपने जीवन में करके दिखाया। ये महान विभूति इस जगत में यदि इस प्रकार के आचरण नहीं करते तो मेरे जैसे अंध राधाम व्यक्तियों के लिए कोई अन्य सहारा देगा है भी नहीं। तो यही कहकर मैं अपनी वाणी को यहाँ पे विराम दूंगा और उनसे प्रार्थना करूंगा, अपने वैष्णव से प्रार्थना करूंगा कि इन वैष्णवों के चरणों में, गुरुजनों के चरणों में धरती पर कण मात्र भी हृदय में जागृत हो। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। श्रील भक्तिवेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। सभी श्री भाव की भाव
आपको भी विचार है तो आप माने तो